What is going on, everybody? I am the FDGURU, bringing to you guys a Tuesday NBA edition of my DFS podcast. We only have 4 games on tonight's main slate. I might play the late slate as well, assuming it's at 8 o'clock for the 8 and 10 o'clock games. That'll be on my Dub Club if I do end up doing that. The link is below to get a part of that. We don't really have any injury news. This slate seems pretty clear-cut. We got LeBron out, which was, kind of necessary value that we, wanted to see because although LeBron doesn't exactly unlock a ton of cheap guys, it makes us feel better about the starters in the Lakers lineup with a great matchup against the Bucks. So we'll talk about that. Last night was an absolute disaster. We had Cam Thomas in all of my lineups. I loved him against the Raptors. Just ruled out with a back injury 30 minutes before the game. No injury designation. Just, nope. Just going to not play. Completely caught me off guard. I was making dinner. It's like I was trying to live my life and I have to jump onto my computer. And then we get Deni Avdija 30 minutes before the game. Again, back-to-back guys. An illness, not on the injury report. Avdija gets ruled out. I mean, it was just a disaster from the get-go. I was scrambling. People didn't get my updated lineups in. As I know, I try not to do edits, but just a disaster. We'll move on to tonight. Smaller slate. The only injuries we're waiting on, Miami guys, and we already have, the Heat pretty properly priced, because these guys have been out. Jimmy Butler is now probable. We have Trace Jackson-Davis on the Warriors, questionable. That could maybe open up like Dario Saric. I don't think it's anything crazy. Caleb Martin is questionable. Kevin Love is questionable, and Yami Yaquez is questionable. So that does matter. We do have that game as one of the first games of the slate, so we'll get that news before lock. Everything else, every other team, we look like we're ready to go. So there's not a ton of value out there, but everyone's going to be, grinding, at the same disadvantage. So 5 plays in this video, 1 for each position. MLB opening day on Thursday. I'm probably dropping my MLB video tomorrow night. I'll be doing a free credit code on that video and, a bunch of other stuff as we rev up for the MLB season. So for point guard, just value. I don't know if anything else will open up, but I'm looking at Jose Alvarado right now at 4,400. It's not the best play, but it helps us make a decent lineup tonight. With no Brandon Ingram, we have seen Alvarado's minutes go up a little bit as the next guy off the bench. With Brandon Ingram playing, it was Trey Murphy who was the first guy off the bench. Now that Trey Murphy is in the starting lineup filling in for Ingram, there's just less guys ahead of Alvarado when he's coming off the bench. He played 21 minutes last game, didn't play that well, so he didn't play as much as he should. If he plays decent, we can project him for 25 plus minutes. He played well 2 games ago against Miami, and he played 31 minutes and got 32 fantasy points. So we know what he's capable of doing with Brandon Ingram off the court. He needs 21 fantasy points to hit value. He's projected for like 19 or 20. And again, we don't have like eye-popping cheap value on this slate, so he can help us do some good things with the rest of our lineup. Shooting guard, very similar Lakers guys, $100 difference. DAngelo Russell and Austin Reeves with no LeBron James tonight. A great matchup against this poor Milwaukee Bucks defense. It is a 9.5 point spread, so we have to worry a little bit about a blowout, but it's not worrisome enough to avoid the value that the Lakers have tonight in a prime matchup against this Bucks defense. Pretty high over-under. I like Russell a little bit more than Reeves. He's going to have the ball in his hand more. He's been playing a little bit better and a little bit more consistent than Austin Reeves. If you want to get to both of them, certainly not going to, root against that. He needs 37 fantasy points to hit value. Again, with no LeBron on the court, it's just, there's not much else to say. We know the usages for all these starters are going to go up. I've read some articles today already and seen some projections, and Spencer Dinwiddie was popping up in some spots, but Dinwiddie was only good because he was starting with Russell out last game. I don't think Dinwiddie really benefits from LeBron being out. They're not going to start him. You wouldn't start him alongside DAngelo Russell and Austin Reeves. That wouldn't make any sense. So I think he goes back to his bench role where he plays 16 to 21 minutes, and he's just, before last game with no Russell, he's just terrible. As we've seen since he's been on the Lakers, when Russell plays, Dinwiddie does absolutely nothing. So at his elevated price tag, unless he's starting tonight, which I don't project him to be starting, he is just unplayable in all formats. But that will lead us to the cheap guy we do want to get to. I do think Tyrion Prince is going to start tonight in the absence of LeBron. He plays the same position. My projection is that we see a starting lineup of DAngelo Russell, Austin Reeves, Tyrion Prince, Rui Hachimura, and Anthony Davis. And if that's the case, all of these starters are going to pop on paper. Prince had been playing around 20 minutes a game, pretty consistent, mid-teens to high teens. Only 4,200 tonight. He's not priced for LeBron James to be out. He needs 21 fantasy points to hit value. I think he's going to be a very popular value piece. There aren't many guys, as I've said, who are cheap values. Prince looks like the best one. In terms of other sub 5K values tonight, Jose Alvarado is probably the next guy up, and there's not much else after that. So Tyrion Prince, if he's starting, we're going to want to get him in some lineups. Now, the Lakers could do some weird shit. We've seen them start Cam Reddish before, so this game is also one of the first games of the slate. So we're going to know the starting lineup. If we were to get Cam Reddish to start, whoever starts in place of LeBron is going to be my value play for that spot. I do think it's Tyrion Prince at 4,200. Power forward, let's go to Keegan Murray. His price dropped a little bit. Played really well last night. 6,400, needs 32 fantasy points to hit value. This Mavericks and Kings game looks like a great game. DFS-wise and on paper, just to, watch as an NBA game. He's been playing big minutes. He's been a fantasy point per minute guy. 39 and 38.5 fantasy points over the last 2 games. I could be wrong, but I thought he was like $6,700 last night on the after hours slate. And now he dropped to 64. And when he plays well, he's obviously got more consistent minutes than Harrison Barnes and other Kings guys, even Malik Monk. He's really the third most consistent guy in terms of DFS for minutes and production behind Domantas Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox. He's the next guy up. He can play small forward and power forward. Good matchup against the Mavericks. I expect him to play anywhere from low 30s to high 30s in minutes tonight. And again, his decreased salary looks pretty good at 6,400. And then for center, Anthony Davis with no LeBron James tonight. Now we have guys like Luka Doncic, we have guys like Sabonis on this slate. I like Anthony Davis the most. I just think his ceiling is as high as anyone's tonight, even Luka's. With no LeBron James on the court, he has been cooking over the last 3 games. 56, 60.5. 66.5 fantasy points. Couldn't draw a better matchup against the Bucks here tonight. I think he goes off. He's going to play 37 to 40 minutes in a competitive game. And I really like him. I think his prize pick square tonight, as of right now, is like 54 fantasy score. I think you want to hit the over on that. I project him for anywhere from 56 to 70 fantasy points tonight. So he looks really good. Again, with no LeBron, he should just do basically everything. Like I said with the other Lakers guys, all these starters look good. Anthony Davis is going to be catching my eye tonight in a majority of my lineups. That'll do it for this video, guys. Again, not much injury stuff. Looks like we're pressed for value tonight, but I do think we can bounce back here, and hopefully we get no fuckery like we did last night. So let's crush it. Expect that MLB video out some point tomorrow. Until next time, I am the FD Guru. Peace.